Welcome. Good evening. I'm Miss Jill, and this is In the Know. We're going to get right into things, and we're going to tell you what we know, starting with a little bit about community, Fort Wayne. So I saw an article today that talked about the new, I want to call it a sculpture or monument, or is that what you would call it?
It's a monument.
Monument. So that was on Monday?
Yes.
Yesterday. Is somebody familiar with what happened there to give us a little more details?
It was basically a dedication of the monument to the city.
Okay.
And it was the MLK, Dr. Martin Luther King, his final speech that he made in Fort Wayne, Indiana on June 5th, kind of sort of at the same time. So 60 years later. And so they were revealing the monument.
And who gave?
And I don't want to say thanks to, because
Right.
there were several people, including Michelle Chambers, but there were a lot of other people too that were responsible for that.
And that is on Main and Ewing?
In Ewing.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I saw that and I thought that was pretty cool. Who spoke?
Oh my goodness.
Was it somebody like
Yes, Pastor
Local-
Bill McGill.
Okay.
Yes, and Michelle Chambers, Councilwoman Michelle
I
Chambers.
saw okay.
Yes, Mayor Henry, of course.
Okay.
And several other people.
And it was his son, right? Correct?
And of course, yes, Dr. Martin Luther
Okay,
King
yep.
Jr.
The third.
One,
Martin
two,
Luther
three,
King
yep.
the third. Martin Luther King the third. Yeah, Martin Luther King the third. Yeah.
I'm like, how do you do that?
So yeah, that's pretty cool to see locally. Very nice picture too, unlike the one we were talking about before, where we were trying to figure out where it was. Boston,
I think it was in
someplace
Boston.
where they took the most terrible picture of the monument and spread it all over the internet, so nobody knew what it even was.
Right.
Shockingly, that's how the media portrayed it. But when we all saw the actual, photo of what it looked like, it was very clear.
Before we leave that, one of the
Yeah.
things that I thought was really interesting about last night, so they had the event outside, the dedication of the monument. So if you haven't seen it, you do need to go by and see it. And what's beautiful, it lights up. So I went back later that evening to see it. But so right after that dedication, then they went into the building, the Scottish Rite, where he actually did the presentation, his speech, and that's where Reverend Bill McGill performed his MLK. I mean, he got that thing down, and he did an amazing job, basically reading what they put together. That was his original speech.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so we also had somebody else on stage performing. So Mr. Latham, and so he was amazing. So if you tune into our page, actually, I have a
Yes,
clip,
you do.
yes, a video.
You do.
Of his
I need to
performance.
see that.
Yeah, it's a good
it's
video.
it's a good video.
Very nice.
Good video. So yeah, thanks for the insight and details about that. Check it out. I saw today that German Fest is happening the 7th through the 11th. Never been to German Fest.
Never have
A lot
I
of
either.
people go.
Y'all never been to German Fest?
No,
Never
I've
been to German
I've never
Fest.
been. Never been.
Have you ever had a brat, and what was the other one? Is some other way they say it? The sausage.
I haven't.
The
I've
brat.
never had the brats. Well, I've had brats, but I've never been down
People say
to
they
German Fest.
Say
You
it
almost say,
different
I know
ways.
you had a Bronx. Well,
But-
yeah. I've been, I go every
A
year.
brat.
It's actually a pretty good one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's
I was gonna say, I heard somebody say you should go there. You need to try it. If you
yeah,
like
it's something
it.
different.
Yeah.
When I say it's something different, it really is something different.
Yeah, I've
but
never
it's
been.
fun.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people talk about it. Just haven't been. Three Rivers Festival. So I don't know if you remember was it the board of directors or something that kept switching out
president,
and
yeah.
they couldn't keep it. So
yes.
I did see something the other day that said the festival will go on unless we are underwater. So basically they were saying that, yes, we are going to have the festival this year. They were looking for volunteers. Do you have any idea how many volunteers it takes to run the Three Rivers? Just a guess, because
2,300.
I was way off.
It's 2,300.
So it started out a long time ago at 700, and now it's almost up to 2,500 volunteers.
Wow.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That is a lot of people. So I was shocked by that. And something else I wanted to ask. Do you remember when WMEE used to hold? Back then they called it the was it the raft race?
Yeah, the raft
Oh,
race.
the rap race.
Yes, that was like a big deal back
Yeah,
then.
they had it a couple of years
And
ago.
they had it a couple, yeah, but they had it a couple years ago. But everybody was saying like that it's not the same. So did anybody ever participate in the bed race or the raft race?
I was in a bed race once, but never in a raft race.
I knew you would have been. So but what's it entail? You
Race
just
to the
going down
bed.
the river and dressing everything up like
Yeah, you would make like makeshift raft ship or whatever. You can make it look like whatever you wanted to make it, and you sail down there. And again, it was a winter, but then they had different things for best raft
Okay.
design. It was all different categories. But the bed race, I was in that one year I worked, and
Can't
man,
even imagine.
You was
Man.
in the bed race.
yeah, you've never
So
been
you
in the bed
raced
race.
to the bed.
You have like a hospital bed.
You missed everything I just said.
No, I understood
It went right
exactly
over
what you
your
said.
head.
but we had like a hospital bed, and it had wheels. You had like big wheels on it, and you had to run. It was like 3 people on each side, so it was 6 people, and there was one person, or you had a stuffed animal, or you had something in a bed, and you had to race, and it was time trials, and whoever had the fastest time won, and it was just running. But the street was never even. I've seen people, man, they needed to be in that bed after that.
right. But they are having that again this year.
Yes.
So I know a lot of people, I saw where a bunch of people were commenting and they were super excited about that. So if that is your cup of tea, you can go to the Three Rivers Festival website and sign up for
I'm
that.
glad you explained.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, how
bed
it works?
race. Well, I'm just saying, I never.
You never seen
But
it?
somewhere in there, as you were explaining, I had a visual of you running, pushing this bed, but running and
Yes.
diving in it as it's
No,
coasting.
no.
Who running, huh?
I think that's the way they should.
Oh,
That's
no.
what I thought it was. I thought the bed was like floating down the river, and that's why they
No.
called it that.
No, it was 2 different things. The raft race and the bed race were 2 different things. The bed race would be right in front of the firehouse.
Okay.
Right, is that on Main
solid
Street?
ground? Is that right?
It wasn't solid. It was solid,
I'm
but
just
it wasn't
saying.
even.
On Main Street.
On the
Yeah,
pavement.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, but one
so-
was in the water, right?
Yeah, the raft race.
That's
You
the
know,
one
and
I'm
You
into.
put the bed.
And the raft race started
Yeah,
down there.
You put the bed in the water, didn't you?
No, the raft race started down there on the other side of St. Joe Hospital.
Okay.
And it would sail down to where the deck is.
Okay.
And, a little bit further for you to dock. But yeah, so.
Let's do that. Let's get a Neutral Voices
Not gonna happen.
thingy in the river. That would be awesome.
Because
So,
I'll push a couple of y'all in the water. I'll baptize y'all.
and baptized twice. So,
First one didn't work.
The second one ain't worked neither, huh? Need a third time.
so most of the pools, if not all of them, are open for the season. Most of them opened Memorial Day weekend. So if you need something to do, or if you need to get the kids out to do a little bit, those are open as well. Does anybody else have anything before we move further that you would like to talk about what's going on this coming week, this weekend, before we move on to some
Well,
other things and then our guests?
Since you mentioned the pools, the splash pads are also open, and I didn't realize they stay open till 9 o'clock.
Oh, really?
So do
9 p.m. Yes,
Do they?
that's pretty
We
late.
still light at 9 though.
I know, but I
Those
was
kids
just
need to
really
be
surprised.
they need to be asleep.
Okay. We're on this side of town. I know there was one in McCormick. Is there still one in McCormick Park? And there's one in
There's
McMillan?
one right here on Fairfield. What's the name of that park in Fairfield? Where the old Lutheran Hospital.
Oh, I don't know the name of the park, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah, that one has one. Memorial Park has one.
In downtown. doesn't
There's
it?
like
Downtown
9
have
in
one.
the city.
I think that's the one.
Yeah, I know the one in McCormick.
Yeah, they have the one in McCormick too as well. So yeah, it's a few of them down. It's a few of them. Wow, actually, there's one out on Mainsville Road as well. The park they built out there. That
Krager.
one out there is nice.
That's my favorite
That's the
one.
biggest one.
Yep.
That's that one right there.
Even getting his splash on.
No, I
It
used to
is
stay out.
super
I used
nice.
to stay out that way.
It is super
It's all right,
nice.
It's okay.
It's graduation. I know a lot of people were attending graduation parties this weekend or attending graduation last week. So we do again want to congratulate all of the graduates. So and the parents of the graduates. I know for me, I felt like I was walking across that stage too, because it is definitely a journey as a parent to be there for the child and get them, across the finish line. So congratulations, parents. Congratulations, graduates.
Yeah.
So as I was looking at some different things, because tomorrow our show, we're going to be talking about the extinction of mankind. And just to give you a little snippet, because that could go several ways, it doesn't mean we're going to get rid of all of the gentlemen in here. What it does mean is we're going to talk a little bit about AI, aka artificial intelligence. So we're just going to touch on that a little bit. So when it comes to graduation, the amount of people, graduates, that are going to college has declined quite a bit. So I was looking into why that is. And not only did I run across several positions in the local area that require, let's say, a bachelor's degree, that pay $12.50 an hour, $13 an hour. So I looked at that first because I had to think, like, why? I wonder what's causing the decline. So I found a study and a survey. They asked, I think, 2,000 graduates from 8 or 9 different states that did not go to college. They asked them why. Why didn't you go to college? Most of them said the cost, or they didn't see the value in the degree. I did a little more math. So the average 4-year degree, let's say, this isn't here, this is nationwide, so it could be, is $36,000. A person who has, that's a 4-year degree. A person who has student loan interest and loss of income, it could actually cost them $500,000 over the course of loans, everything else. So $500,000 to make an average of $15,000 annually more than somebody who walked out of high school and got a job. So I had to look that up myself. And to be quite honest, the amount of research that I did made me question it myself.
Yeah.
That brings me to the question. If you had it to do over again, would you have went to college, would you have done that? Would you advise your kids to do it today?
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the thing, and numbers are numbers, is all how you calculate and where you get your information and how you do it. Now, I don't know when they started tracking graduation rates, but if you look between 1920 and 1930, college graduates were not anything, or high school graduates was not even a factor, because you think about it. There were railroad workers, there were coal miners, there were steel mill workers, there were people that didn't even finish high school, but they were being able to find these jobs to be able to sustain and keep their family
Absolutely.
going. And that went for a long time. I don't know when the shift in the paradigm where college became the idea thing that you had to do to be able to survive. I'm not knocking it, because I went to college, and yes, I would go to college again, because I'm not a manual laborer. So I would actually go to college again, because manual labor is not my thing.
Yeah, right.
So yes, but then there's some that are not like me. That they're better with their hands. There's carpenters, there's painters, there's drywallers. There are people that don't have to go to college. They really don't have to finish high school to be and I'm not saying don't finish high school, but I'm saying there's skills that they can sustain themselves. So it all depends on what angle and where you're trying to reference your numbers to go to what you're trying to show.
Absolutely.
But nowadays you could come out of high school with an associate degree.
Yes.
So
A lot of them are.
Yeah, so I would rather for my child to come out of high school with an associate degree. Now he got a leg up in what's going on, so he don't have to go to be at a 4-year college for 4 years. I mean, the smartest thing. I mean, I know people with master's degree, and I make more than.
Right.
So it's just like you sit back and wonder, is it worth it? In some skills, yes, but I would tell anybody the best thing to do is go get a trade skill, because guess what? Now I could turn myself into a business.
Yeah, because I don't want you to get your YouTube university degree trying to do heart surgery. No, I want you to be actually trained.
That's right.
So many would call these people that I'm going to reference conspiracy theorists, and maybe that's your belief. But it is very common belief that in the next 10 to 20 years, people who have studied AI or have some kind of thought about AI are telling us that a college education will be obsolete. What are your thoughts? I mean, can an education, the school might be, but can an education ever be obsolete?
No.
So, right. So I want to talk more about that tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, congratulations to our youth. And Cliff, what would you tell? I know you work a lot with our youth. We're going to
Yes.
talk about that in a second. So if someone came to you as a high school graduate and, asked for your mentorship as far as which path, they should go today, how would you direct them?
Uh, well, being that I'm a very spiritual person,
Mm-hmm.
I would always say, consult the Lord. Pray, because everyone has a lane. Everybody has been gifted to do something, right? We all have a purpose. There is something that we've been placed here to do, and sometimes the route to that, there may not be a college course for that,
Right.
right? But also the route for that. The college course may be, everything. I think it's a person to person thing. I mean, I think they should very much consult the Father for those things. That's my opinion. That would always be my advice.
Absolutely. Absolutely wonderful. With that being said, we would like to introduce our guest, Mr. Cliff Latham. Cliff, you've been here before with us.
Yes, I have.
You have. So we do have you here tonight to talk about an event that you are super excited about.
Super excited.
Can you start with telling us a little bit about, we're going to do a what, when, where type of thing.
Okay.
So let's start with what? What are you here to tell us about?
So on Friday, right? My birthday is June the 8th, right? So happy birthday to
Yeah, happy birthday to you. Look at you.
So y'all get ready to celebrate your boy.
Okay.
And so on June the 9th, on Friday, we're doing a live recording. Myself and a group of young people that minister with me throughout the month. I'm so excited that they have been working hard. They've been prepping hard. And so we're going to do a live recording, a worship recording of some original music that God has given me. And man, we ready to have fun. Turn up the Lord.
Yeah. And where this is different, is this your first live
This is
recording?
my first live recording. Yes.
Okay.
Been recording music for a long time, writing music for a long time, but this is my first live recording.
Where is this going to be happening?
New
Friday?
Covenant Worship Center, 3420 East Paulding Road, right here in the great city of Fort Wayne, Indiana. All roads lead. So get on one and find your way there.
Amen.
Doors open at 6:30, starts at 7 p.m.
7
Correct.
p.m. Doors open at 6:30. You are absolutely correct.
Okay. Something that I wanted to ask is, tell us a little bit about, because you are involved with the youth quite a bit, not just for this.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what led up to something like this. Like, who had the idea? Let's get together. Let's do this. Let's do it live.
Got you. So for me, I've been writing since I was 11. Right, writing songs and writing music, and for many of the years that I've been doing music, I always felt less than. Right, I never felt like I was equipped to do it on the level that my heroes or other people do it, and so I've put this off for so long because I would always look at my flaws. Where other people would say, hey, man, you did a great job. I would pick it apart, find the flaw, and that's what I would dwell on. So last year, probably a week ago last year, I started a sermon series called My Fight with Fear. In my services, and I was talking about the fears that I had with doing music and actually putting it out. And I made a declaration in that service that I'm going to do my music next year. And so here we are a year later, and that dream, that thing that I put in the atmosphere is coming to pass. And so it's my birthday present to myself. But you know what I thought about? My team is young, and I said, what if when I was young, someone would have invited me to do something of this magnitude? Where could I be now?
Right.
And so I invited my team to do it along with me. And, this is the first time for them. They're not professional singers or anything like this, but they are excited. They're gung-ho. They've been working hard. And I'm excited to see what God is going to do through us.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna let Doc V go, but I had something when you were talking about the fear. Go ahead, Doc V.
I don't know. You heard. I was actually excited because we actually have one of the singers in the house, and so I was excited looking at her beautiful face. Yes, but anyway, so and I'm excited about this. And you said you thought about, had this happened back then, where could that person be, you know? And so it just makes me think about not just where could they be in life, period, but even in their relationship with God.
Most definitely.
Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. And I know that's what your purpose is.
Most definitely.
And so, yeah, so I'm excited. And I've been saying for a while, I wish we had something, not just for the young people, but something for Christians, something for people that are believers of God to get together on a Friday night.
Yeah.
And be able to hang out, have a good time, and just love on each other
Most
and
definitely.
worship.
Well, listen,
So,
you can do that each and every first and third Saturday of the month
There
at
you
the
go.
Snow, SNO/O. Saturday Night Outpour and Overflow is a worship service that we have, and it's targeting young adults, but it's not just for young adults.
Okay.
That's who we are targeting, but anybody is welcome to come and worship. You're going to get a good word. You're going to get some good worship, and I just do a sermon, and then we go into small groups, and so we further discuss that, and it's a real good time. I have to kick them out of the church every week, like literally.
That's
Like,
so
good.
good.
I'm sitting there
That's good.
waiting, and I'm like, y'all got to go home so I
That's
can go
awesome.
home.
That's awesome.
And I love that spin because this is happening in the evening.
Yes.
So it starts again, so people can hear you again.
Yep. So each and every first and third Saturday of the month, we have what's called the Snow, SNO/O, Saturday Night Outpour and Overflow. If you think of the outpour, is where we worship, right? It's where we praise God, and then the overflow is just kind of where we hang out and love on each other. Small group discussion, good fellowship, Christian fellowship. All are invited, whether you're a believer or not. Come check us out. We the music is in my opinion, it's excellent. It's fun. It's young. It's hip. I don't really do a very old school preaching style, so I kind of talk in today's terminology. That's what I try to do. Even though they say I'm an old cat now, I'm an OG at this point, right? I ain't got I'm trying to get my beard like E Fikes, but I ain't got there yet. But
Get it,
they
Nate's
call me
great.
an old cat. At
I
this
hear you.
point.
I hear you. I hear you. But you were mentioning, and we've talked several times over many of the years that we've known each other. You are one of probably the most accomplished and impeccable musicians that I've met.
Wow.
And not only that, your song structure and writing, we've talked about that. So my question is, knowing that you're gifted, how do you fight your gift with your fear? Because what you have is not any talent that can be given.
Yeah.
So, what brought you to now realize that your gift is greater than your fear?
First of all, I guess I'll jump in and say what gives me the confidence now is knowing that it's not my gift, right? It's a gift given. It's not in my own strength, my own abilities. Actually, I really don't consider myself to be a songwriter, right? I say this often that I really consider myself to be a pen, right? Because I'll hear a song and be in a moment and be experiencing life in such a way, and this song will encourage me, and it will be moments or maybe even days later that I realize that was my song, right? Or I wake up from a dream and it's like I wake up and I'm crying in worship, or I'm smiling for whatever, and God tapped me on the shoulder like, hey. And so I get my voice recorder and try to put a little snippet down, and I mean I probably got a few thousand files on there where you can't understand what I'm saying because I sound like who knows what, just waking up. But so to get to my point now is I really had to realize that the gift that's given is not just for enjoyment, it's a responsibility, right? Because my ministry area is encouragement. I believe that I can encourage people even when I'm in my lowest point.
Right.
I believe I can inspire people to go through, to press on, to continue on, and that's what my music does. And so now I realize that, hey man, you got this music, you got this gold, and I'm not talking about from a monetary, but you have people's freedom locked up in your phone. You have people's breakthrough locked up in your phone. You have what people need to go through heartache and pain and devastation and depression and all these different things. There have been times, if I could be honest, man, I remember a time where life got so heavy for me where I wanted to run my truck through this wall. Matter of fact, it was when it used to be National City down on the corner of 27 and Anthony, because I remember one Friday, it's probably maybe almost 20 years ago, I went and put my check in the account, and it was still negative after the deposit, right? And I was like, I should just run into this Target. Remember the Target, right? And I was listening to a song, and the song, whatever was going on in the song at that moment, it made me snap out of it, and I didn't even realize, I'm about to cry, right? And I didn't even realize it was my song until later.
God.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've had people tell me, hey, I was about to kill myself, but this song, right? 'Cause I got stuff that's leaked. So, you know what I mean, or whatever, or that people who may have sang in my group, they may have access to files that we rehearsed or whatever. And so, man, it just comes to this point where I have to realize, what am I afraid of? Am I afraid of what people may say, people may think, or am I afraid of not hearing, well done, my good and faithful servant? You know what I mean? And so that is the motivation, and it's taken a lot of time, a lot of years for me to get there. But I realize now, as I am pastoring these young people, and I'm telling them these things, like, hey, bro, you can't be telling them you can't have fear, and you can do this and you can do that, and you sitting here withholding what God is giving you.
Amen.
Right.
That's
I think, something that you said. You said that you didn't, pursue what you enjoyed back then because you felt a certain way. You felt less than. What was your stance in your spirituality at that time when you felt that?
Definitely a believer. So I was a believer, but I would say that my relationship and my faith had not matured to this point, right?
Yeah.
I loved the Lord then. What I was doing for him was ministry. I was still ministering and preaching and doing music and all these different things. That didn't have an effect on my walk, but it had an effect on my work.
Right.
If I can say it like that, right? So I still was walking. I felt, but then if I say that, I really got to say, it had an effect on all of it, right? Because delayed obedience or partial obedience is still disobedience,
right?
Right, and so I wasn't really operating in the fullness of what God had called and gifted me to be. And again, when He gives you a gift, it's not just for you to withhold and to let it.
Sure.
It's almost like the person who had the talents and buried them, right? And so for so many years, I've been burying these talents and these gifts. Yeah, I sing, or yes, I do this, or whatever, but because I didn't feel like I measured up to somebody else, I was so insecure, I never really put out what God gifted me. And I had to realize that it's not about what everybody else thinks about it. Right. If He gave it to me, I just go here, like, it doesn't matter what you sing like or what you sing like. Beyonce can be right here. Tank can be right here singing. If the Lord want to hear my voice,
He's what He's going to hear.
It don't matter how well. So if I get up, if I scratch, if I crack, if whatever, the most beautiful sound to Him in the moment that He's requiring me is my obedience, not anybody else's voices. So I really been trying to get over comparison. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like how you said it, especially when you're dealing with young people.
Yes.
And you say that they're not professional singers, but that doesn't mean that they're not at a professional level.
Most
it just means that they haven't been noticed. But too many times we diminishes other people's dreams. Like, we get too critical and we want things out of young people that we haven't given that experience. So I'm encouraged that you are doing this and then encouraging them to continue on, because I'm like you. If I had somebody when I was trying to start, or when I was getting it, where would I be?
Exactly.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And I think once you feel like, even telling that story now about feeling less than, you can tell that, it's not the first time you've told it, but you still tell it almost like it's the first time that you're saying it. And I think that's probably why you're doing so much more than teaching music and teaching the word, because you know what it feels like. So you want to make sure, that you're somebody who's keeping the dream alive.
Right.
I just want to say this real quick before we exit. You said something about I'll say the responsibility, and I heard you say responsibility. I want to remind you that what that really was your response to God.
Yeah.
For the call.
Yes.
The call.
Yeah. So I just want to thank you for being obedient.
Most definitely.
And listening to God.
And we're gonna do something real quick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna yield my seat, and I'm gonna have Miss Akira come and give a little something about working with Mr. Cliff Latham, and then we're gonna just let her give some. Come on, Miss Akira, come on.
You better not make me cry.
That happy face.
Don't start that foolishness.
Foolish.
Don't start.
That foolishness.
Dang, the seat tall.
Hi, honey.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey. Okay, what am I supposed to say? How amazing he is of a leader. Really, I joined Snow a year ago when he developed this dream of, I'm going to do my music next year. I'm so excited that I get to be a part of it. Like, really. I was telling my mother that I get a little nervous when I'm next to my leadership because of how great he is to me and how much my life has changed joining Snow and his encouraging words and just the music. And it's going to be fire on Friday too, so everybody better be there. But you're amazing and such a blessing to my life, and I love and appreciate you so very much, even though I look crazy right now. So everybody else better love him as much as I love him too. So yeah,
We appreciate that.
Thank
We appreciate that. As we lead out, do you want to go ahead and give the audience an official invite for Friday?
Yes. Am I looking in this camera? Fort Wayne, I need you in the building. If I've ever played at your wedding, if I've ever played at your church, if you call me at the last minute because your musician didn't show up, if I've given you piano lessons, singing lessons, whatever the case may be, or if you just don't, if you don't even know me, right? Just come out. It's going to be an awesome experience. It's going to be a time in the Lord, some incredible music, but most of all, the love of Jesus will be in the room. So we invite you out. Come out Friday, 6:30 p.m. The doors open. The event starts at 7 p.m. 3420 East Paulding Road, New Covenant Worship Center. Man, make your way out. We would love to see you in the building.
Awesome. Awesome. Cliff,
good.
Akira, thank you for being with us. We
Thank you for
appreciate
having
you
us.
both.
no problem.
And as we always end off here at Neutral Voices for the evening,
Always protect your mind.